how are you finding it this time around, weather and so forth?
The weather is sweet. But yeah, it's okay, it's just rainy. But I like it. The people are nice. I love all the heritage and the history that's here, like the old buildings and such. And everyone's been cool, so it's been good so far.
Are you a bit of a history buff in your spare time?
Yeah, for sure. I like to do a little bit of research and find out where everyone's come from and what we're all doing.
So you're hoping to get out and about, I guess, and see some castles and that. You don't get much.
I won't, but I'd like to, but I won't. Maybe if I would have scheduled a little bit ahead of time, like after the fight or something. But yeah, for here it's just fight mode. So maybe in the future.
So this time around it's strictly business, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so talk business. You've got Shea Mills Saturday night. He's the hometown fighter. You're a very experienced guy, so I'm guessing that being the away fighter and being on the receiving end of the boos and the catcalls isn't something that's going to bother you, really.
I don't really care. I'd much rather have cheers for me, but it's okay. It's part of the business.
Have you seen much of him?
Yeah, I've seen his last 2 fights in the UFC, and I've seen a lot of his previous fights on the internet. And he does good. You know, he comes to fight. He's a decent striker. He has good power, good speed, and it's gonna be an interesting night.
How far back do you go when you're watching tape? Because I know a lot of guys, they say like if you go more than a few fights back, sometimes it's not so useful because the guy might be doing things a lot differently now than he was, 2 years ago. Or,
yeah, true.
What's a good time frame for you?
I like to watch all the fights though, and pick up on their idiosyncrasies and the things that they've done in the past, and see if they're still doing them or not, and just play off of those things. But of course, everybody should be improving, and he's improved quite a bit. And but there are some things there that I see.
You've picked up a few useful tips.
I'm sorry?
Have you picked up a few useful tips?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. But we'll see what happens when the bell rings. But right now, what's in the brain, I have some good tricks that should work.
Okay, cool. Just touch on your last fight briefly. Obviously, it didn't go the way it was intended. Is there anything in particular you can take away from that fight, or was it just one of those things?
I think one of those things, for me, I just gave it not as much serious as I should have. I just think it was a bit relaxed, and that's a bad idea when you fight Dan Hardy, So, we're kind of a bit of a friend, so it's a little bit strange for me. But I just have to understand that it's a fight no matter what, and just go fight. Go in there and be a bit meaner.
In retrospect, do you think there was any sense that because Dan was coming off that run of losses, you thought that maybe, he was going to be easier than it turned out to be?
No, it's not that. I just, he came to fight, and I didn't come to fight as much, and he was up for it, and I wasn't as up for it as I should have been. But he got me.
Okay, and the final question, Dan's also on this weekend's card, and he's facing Amir Sadollah. Would you care to make a prediction how you think that fight's going to go?
That's going to be a good fight. That's going to be a great fight. Two really good strikers, and I think Dan's got more power, and but Hardy's got. Amir's got good footwork and mixes it up a bit differently. I feel he's better off of his back, Amir. So, but as long as they keep it standing, man, it's going to be a really good fight. I'm waiting to see that fight. That's why I'm here. Oh, I got to fight too, but that's a really good fight.